Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on the DC movie side of things. And wow, we have some very interesting news to cover about the future of DC films and the DC multiverse in general. So obviously, so far we know that we have two different branches for the DC film side of things. We obviously have the DCEU, the ones with like the Snyder characters, if you will, alongside the Suicide Squad characters, Shazam, and the newly confirmed Black Adam, and more to come. And then we also have the spin-off DC movies, such as like the upcoming The Batman movie, but also others like Joker. Now, in regards to the multiverse, we really saw DC go in depth with the multiverse from the TV side of things only at first, during like Flash Season 2 onwards, where we had them exploring the multiverse for years. And also with the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover, we obviously had the two Flashes from different universes, Grant Gustin and Ezra Miller's Flash, meeting each other. And we actually had Ezra Miller's Flash taking up the alias of the Flash from Grant Gustin's Flash, which was pretty cool to see. And with this announcement, we do know that now it's time for the DC movie side of things to start exploring the multiverse, starting with the Flash movie. But with this announcement, we have multiple teasers in regards to multiple Batmans appearing for upcoming DC movies, along with other interesting announcements, which I will be breaking down in this video. But before I go over anything, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more DC videos coming your way. Now, Walter Hamada, who is the head of the DC films, did this interview very recently with New York Times. And there are some very interesting things to break down about the future of DC movies. So the article starts off, as the president of DC Films, however, Mr. Hamada, 52, manages the movie careers of Wonder Woman, Batman, Cyborg, The Flash, Superman, and every other DC Comics superhero. And the new course he has charted for them is dizzying. The most expensive DC movies, up to 4 a year starting in 2022, are designed for release in theaters, Mr. Hamada said. Additional superhero films, 2 annually, is the goal, perhaps focused on riskier characters like Batgirl and Static Shock, will arrive exclusively on HBO Max, the fledgling streaming service owned by Warner Media. Now, this is very cool. As you guys saw, starting from 2022, we will be having 4 movies per year, which is awesome. Now, the reason to why they could be doing this, I have no idea, but if I have to guess, it would just be to like set up another Justice League after everything has been like properly sorted out this time. During 2022, however, we will be getting 4 movies, so The Flash, The Batman, Shazam 2, and Black Adam, 3 of which are part of the DCEU, however, one being a spin-off Batman movie, obviously by Matt Reeves. Now, with the 4 movies per year thing, this could increase the possibility of us getting another Superman movie pretty soon, because the reason to why we haven't had another Superman movie yet was because of how badly Henry Cavill's Superman was received. I find that quite bonkers, to be fair. I thought he was great. But if the Zack Snyder's Justice League proves to be successful, then for me at least, that would pretty much be a hashtag Man of Steel 2 in the works type thing. And also in recent interviews, we also found out that Patty Jenkins, the director for the Wonder Woman movies, after being done with the 3rd film of the Wonder Woman trilogy, said that she would like to work on a Superman movie. And Superman is one of the most popular characters ever, so a Superman movie would be great to see. And with the 4 a year movie structure coming, I think that makes it very more likely of us getting a Superman movie. Now, the riskier movies being on HBO Max does make sense, because like Birds of Prey and that Harley Quinn spin-off, pretty much, it was a very risky film and it didn't perform too well. So having characters like Static Shock and Batgirl movies on HBO Max exclusively does kind of make sense when you think about it. In addition, DC Films, which is part of Warner Brothers, will work with filmmakers to develop movie offshoots, TV series that will run on HBO Max and interconnect with their big screen endeavors. With every movie that we're looking at now, we are thinking, what's the potential Max spin-off, Mr. Hamada said. Now, this is very interesting, and it is quite similar to what the MCU is pretty much doing, where they give the characters from the movies a spin-off series, so like WandaVision, for example. So we do already have a couple of them being announced, such as like John Cena's Peacemaker Suicide Squad spin-off series, but also the Gotham PD spin-off from the Matt Reeves Batman universe. If you thought there was a glut of superheroes before, just wait. To make all of the storylines work, DC Films will introduce movie audiences to a comics concept known as the Multiverse, parallel worlds where different versions of the same characters exist simultaneously. Coming up for existence, Warner Brothers will have two different film sagas involving Batman, played by two different actors, running at the same time. So yeah, we got the confirmation over here that the multiverse will be introduced. Now we do know that the first Multiverse DCEU film will be the Flashpoint movie, where in this film, Barry does Flashpoint but to a grander scale. So instead of screwing with the timeline, which he normally did, this one affects the whole multiverse, and we will have the return of Michael Keaton's Batman from 1989, which is really sick, and I think he'll be like a multiverse traveling Batman or something like that. I can't really remember from the top of my head. Now, the Batman part was already kind of obvious, where we would have the same character existing simultaneously from a different universe. So we obviously have Robert Pattinson's Batman from the Matt Reeves universe, but for the DCEU, I'm interested to see who they're talking about, because for the Flash movie, we have the return of Michael Keaton's Batman, but we also do have Ben Affleck's Batman return for that movie as well. So either it's going to be that one of them will die during the Flash movie, or we will have two Batmans in the DCEU, which would be insane. Now with this article, I will skip over a little bit and just go over the main parts, because some of them are not really relevant to what I'm talking about. So Warner Brothers has at least as many comic book based movies in various stages of gestation, including a Suicide Squad sequel, The Batman, in which Robert Pattinson plays the Caped Crusader, and Black Adam, starring Dwayne Johnson as the villainous title character. Television spin-offs like The Batman and The Suicide Squad are headed to HBO Max. Warner Media's traditional television division has roughly 25 additional live-action and animated superhero shows, including Superman and Lois, which arrives on the CW network in February. So in regards to the TV side of things, we obviously have the Arrowverse DCTV shows, but also we are getting the DCEU and the HBO Max spin-off series as well. So we have a lot to look forward to with the TV side of things as well, in which I will be doing weekly reviews for both the Flash Season 7 as well as Superman and Lois when that comes around. When Mr. Hamada arrived at DC Films in 2018, the division was in urgent need of stability. Two terrifyingly expensive movies, Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice and Justice League, both directed by Zack Snyder, were deemed almost unwatchable by critics. Ben Affleck, who played Batman in the films, wanted to move on, complicating sequel plans. At the same time, filmmakers were developing other DC movies that had nothing to do with existing storylines, and in fact contradicted some of them. Mr. Hamada and Mr. Emmerich had two options: figure out how to make the varied storylines and character incarnations coexist or start over. The answer is the multiverse. Boiled down, it means that some characters, Wonder Woman as portrayed by Ms. Gadot for instance, will continue their adventures on Earth 1, while new incarnations like Mr. Pattinson as the Batman will populate Earth 2. The Flash, a film set for release in theaters in 2022, will link the two universes and feature two Batmans, with Mr. Affleck returning as one and Michael Keaton returning as the other. Mr. Keaton played Batman in 1989 and 1992. So yeah, as I said earlier, the Flash movie will be the one heavily exploring the multiverse and bringing in all these universes. And although they will be canon, they won't necessarily be part of the DCEU. So for example, when Ezra Miller's Flash met Grant Gustin's Flash, although it is canon that Ezra Miller has appeared in the Arrowverse, he isn't really part of the Arrowverse. So that is something that they will do with like Robert Pattinson's Batman. If they like link him in the Flash movie somehow, he will not be part of the DCEU. He will still be his own thing, despite him being canon within the multiverse. To complicate matters further, HBO Max gave Mr. Snyder more than $70 million to recut his Justice League and expand it with new footage. Mr. Snyder and Warner Brothers had clashed over his original version, which the studio deemed overly grim, resulting in reshoots handled by a different director, Joss Whedon. That didn't go well either, and the one that Joss Whedon did just to cut off was the one that we saw in theaters, so we didn't really see Zack Snyder's original Justice League movie. So Zack Snyder's Justice League, now 4 hours long, will arrive in segments on HBO Max in March. At least for now, Mr. Snyder is not part of the new DC Films blueprint, with studio executives describing his HBO Max project as a storytelling cul-de-sac, a street that leads nowhere. So although Snyder's Justice League doesn't really lead anywhere, it's just to boost like HBO Max subscriptions and also being something for the fans. I would not be surprised at all if the Snyder Cut becomes like really liked and successful to a point where they could have returning characters such as like Ben Affleck's Batman and maybe Henry Cavill's Superman return. Not likely for Ben Affleck's Batman because he is most likely to meet his end during the Flash movie, but if this Snyder Cut is heavily appreciated and liked, I don't know if Ben Affleck will return, but he could possibly return. But a more likely option, as I said during the start of this video, would be Henry Cavill's Superman to return. And saying that he has a major role in the cut, that is pretty much a higher possibility of him returning as well. But even if that doesn't happen, even though if the Justice League Snyder Cut is heavily liked by fans and they do not bring like other characters back such as like Henry Cavill's Superman, I still won't be surprised if Zack Snyder does direct a couple of other DC movies here and there just to keep him with like the DC Universe side of things. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Tell me in the comment section down below what you guys think about all of this. Do you guys think we could potentially see a new Superman movie as well? But yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.